so moving. It was just such a moving performance. I thought he was one of the best I've ever seen.
I loved it. I really loved it.
I'm so pleased. I think it's much better than the film.
반갑습니다. 이승국입니다. 저도 개인적으로 정말 좋아하는 영화 빌리 엘리어트를 무대 위로 옮긴 뮤지컬 빌리 엘리어트. 이 작품이 얼마 전 한국에서 새롭게 무대에 올랐죠. 이번 프로덕션을 응원하기 위해서 원작 영화와 뮤지컬 초연의 연출을 모두 맡았던 스티븐 달드리 감독님이 생애 처음으로 한국을 방문하시게 됐습니다. 그리고 감사하게도 감독님과 함께 영화 그리고 뮤지컬에 대해서 대화를 나눌 수 있는 기회가 생겨서 제가 냉큼 달려갔고요. 그럼 더 설명할 거 없이 그날의 대화 바로 시작합니다.
Yeah, basically rolling, so I'll just start right away.
Great.
Okay. How should I call you? Should I call you Stephen or Mr. Daldry? Which one do you prefer?
What a good question. You can call me Stephen.
Stephen? Stephen, nice to see you. I'm Seunguk Lee from South Korea, obviously. It's good to have you in Korea.
I'm very happy to be here. I'm very excited to be in South Korea. I'm having a fantastic time in Seoul. So it's my first time and I'm finding the city amazing. It's an astonishing city.
Yeah, I just read it on the article. It's your first time, like I said. What are you finding so interesting about this country and Seoul?
It's very young. It's got a huge amount of creative energy. It's a huge amount of energy in music, in fashion, in theatre. The excitement on the street. It's a city with real energy, and you don't often find that.
Really?
I don't often find that in cities, particularly in Europe anymore.
Well, as a Korean and as a people who live in Seoul, we don't see that way because it's our normal thing. So having that opinion from the outsider, that's really like refreshing for us.
Well, I'm thrilled to be here, and I wish I was spending a lot more time here, and I will be coming back because I love it.
When you come up with a new project, do come back and let me know. I'll just meet you right
Thank
away.
you very much. It's very sweet of you.
And actually, I saw you last night in a theater. Last night, we had a first opening of the fourth production in Korea of the Billy Elliot the musical. It's been actually 26 years since the first film Billy Elliot came out. And it's been 21 years since the Billy Elliot musical first hit the theater in West End. And still, the story of Billy inspires the people around the world. And you saw it last night with your own eyes. Korean people filled the arena and they all laughed and cried and rooted for Billy as the story goes on. So, as a creator of both the musical and the film Billy Elliot, how was it to be there and watch the full show in the language that you don't understand?
Well, first of all, the language I don't understand, I actually knew every word because I've seen it so many times. I knew exactly what everyone was saying at any one time. What I was amazed at last night was the dedication of the company, the skill of the company. These are world-class actors you have. And I was thrilled at how brilliant they were. But I was particularly astonished a couple of performances, particularly the young boy playing Billy. And I've seen many, hundreds of these. I thought he was one of the best I've ever seen.
Really?
I thought he was really genuinely astonishing. So moving. It was just such a moving performance. And he had the strength and the power in his physical body, but he was still very, very young and voice hadn't broken. It was great.
Yeah, we felt that too. Like, I was there, and I don't want to sound rude to you, but I've seen Billy Elliot the film many times, but last night marks my first time actually see the Billy Elliot the musical. I loved it. I really loved it.
I'm so pleased. I think it's much better than the film.
Really?
I do. I think the film is okay. I mean, honestly, we made the film, and it was a very low-budget British film, and it was my first film. And when we had the opportunity to do it as a musical, it wasn't my idea, by the way. It was Elton John's idea to turn it into a musical. And I was sort of going, I don't know how that would work. And then he started writing some songs, and then we sort of got excited, and we started working on it. But I think the story sits happier in the theatre than it does in the film. And I think there's a number of reasons for that. One is it tells the story of the whole community much better than it does in the film. And what you're seeing on stage is you're seeing the performance in real time. In other words, you're not cutting. And you know the performance is so difficult for a young boy to do. It's like running a marathon and performing Hamlet at the same time.
Sure.
And it's just at the limit of what's possible. And you can feel it's not possible for him to do this. And so when he does it, it's magical. It's unbelievable.
The magic, the word you use, is the one I really wanted to describe the whole thing that I saw last night. It was the magic that can only happen on stage. Whoever who haven't watched the Billy Elliot the musical, he's not lying, I'm not lying. You have to go watch it because it's real, the magic is happening on the stage. We're going to talk about all those little details as much as possible, a little bit about the film Billy Elliot and also the musical. Before we go into that, your works are really famous, but recently I talked to my friends who love movies. Still, there are many Korean audience who don't really link some of your works directly to you. So whenever I tell my friends, they're like, oh, that film is also by him. That work is also by Stephen Daldry. Oh, is it also from him? So let me just tell my audience that what kind of achievement you won and what kind of career you had. It might embarrass you, but yeah,
I'm sure it will.
Let me do it for the audience. You have directed only a handful of movies, including Billy Elliot, The Hours, The Reader, Trash, Extremely Loud, and Incredibly Close. With just a handful of movies, you were both nominated as the Best Director for both BAFTA and Oscar. And also with the renowned series The Crown, you won Emmy Awards as the Best Director. And when it comes to the stage, you've won multiple Best Director awards both on Olivier Awards and Tony Awards. Basically, series, films, and stage, you just jump across the different medium and always come up with a great work. And not only that, you recently come up with a Stranger Things, The First Shadow, which is the new play from the franchise, and that broke the records of the West End Broadway. And also, you're the part of the directors who came up with the great opening and closing ceremony of 2012 London Olympics. So when you put that all together, it's just amazing how you're coming up with great work every time. So I have to ask you, how do you do that? How do you jump across different mediums and always come up with great works?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you're very sweet. You never know whether anything you're making is going to be successful or not. And I think I'm always interested in things I can't do and things that I've never done before. I've never tried to repeat anything, which is why I think the work is so eclectic and there's many different variants and varied points of interest. But one of the great joys of my life is that I can explore different things that I don't know how to do. When we did the musical, for example, I had no idea how to do a musical. But when we did the film of Billy Elliot, I didn't know how to make a film either. And doing television, I didn't know how to do long-form drama. That was a whole new learning curve for me. And Stranger Things, for example, it's a sci-fi story. So it's sci-fi and it's about aliens. And the idea of me doing a show about aliens and sci-fi was just it felt so ridiculous and so exciting at the same time. The show that we do in London and on Broadway is technically very, very hard. So it's a very, very difficult show to achieve each night. So I was just interested in how hard I could make it.
Then let me just go a little bit deeper into that. You said you don't want to repeat yourself. You chose the next project because you don't know how to do that. And from that perspective, from my little knowledge, it seems like one of those two, like you're really scared, that's why you chose the next project. Or you're really confident because you're sure you're going to learn from that project. Which one?
It's a good question. I think that being terrified I find quite interesting. If I'm terrified about what I'm doing. In a sort of broader sense, I'm always I'm not interested in repetition because I think it's boring, and directors can repeat themselves, and I think repetition is a journey towards a metaphorical death or creative death. Uh-huh. It can be very challenging. It can be very demanding, and I do get terrified almost all the time. But I think that's quite a useful place for me to be creatively. And sometimes I can't do it. Sometimes I try to do something and really work on a project for a long time and decide not to do it because I can't find my way through it.
Oh, so you do have some experience there on giving up on projects. Uh-huh.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, that's how life works. Okay, then, like I told you, you've come up with great works. So now that you explore the realm of the TV series, films, and musical as well, we do have our own textbook clarification of those different mediums. But as a director and as Stephen yourself, how would you like to describe the different mediums, films, series, and stage works?
Theatre is very different to the process of making a film. Film is much more like a relay race. So the people you start the process with are not the people you finish the process with. So it's much more lonely. And it's much more, well, let me put it another way. In the theatre, when you're making something, everybody in the room can see what you're making. So everybody's aware that it's good, it's not good. you're doing something great, or you're not. Everybody knows what you're making all the time. In film, that's not true. So you can have 100 or 1,000 people on set, and nobody really knows what you're making, except you, except me. So only I know what I'm seeing, and only I know what I'm going to put together in a certain way. And in the film, the people that you write with aren't necessarily the people that you film with, aren't necessarily the people you edit with, or then go on to mix it with. And so it's a whole different group of people that you're constantly changing, which is why I say it's more lonely. Whereas in a theatre, you're always with the same people. So theatre is a much more heartwarming community and supportive environment to work in. Film, you've got to be tougher because only you know what you're making at any one particular time.
Then what about the series, the TV series? What's the difference between the film and TV series?
First of all, you have more time with the story.
Sure.
It's as simple as that.
Okay.
You can develop characters in a different way. The luxury of having time in a TV show. Narratively, you can go down all sorts of different avenues and all sorts of different ideas that you can't necessarily always do in a film because the demands of the narrative are so extreme. So in film, everything is to do with story, just the story. In long-form drama, you have much more room to explore character in a different way.
Then, just personally, just as a director, which medium do you feel comfortable the most?
I think, if I'm being honest, it's theatre, because it's what I was brought up in. I was always going to be a director when I was at school, and theatre is in my blood. And I didn't really ever particularly want to make films.
Really?
It was somebody who ran a film company in London called Eric Fellner who suggested I might be interested. And I wasn't sure I was, and I didn't know how to do it, so I thought I'd have a go. And so Billy Elliot was the process of having a go to see what it felt like. And I like making movies because it's something I'm still struggling with. Basically, theatre, I sort of basically know how to do it. I don't mean that rudely, but
No.
I sort of go,
we can all agree. Yeah.
Film feels very, very hard, and that's why I'm still attracted to keep doing it.
And that first attempt to make a feature film was Billy Elliot. Let's talk a little bit about that. For me, as a third person and just in general audience, the story of that film is so interesting. You said this partly from other interviews. You said this is your first movie ever, the feature movie ever. But then this was from a working title, which was already a promising company back then. But then from another interview, you said people hesitated on investing their money on this project. So you had so little low budget, like you said before. And even you, while making it, and that includes the writer Lee Hall, both of you said you didn't expect people to actually watch this movie because it's a so little baby film. But then when it's finished, it was screened publicly first in Cannes Film Festival. One source have everything material for a great movie. And when you listen to this part of the story, you have all the sources for a disastrous movie. But then when you put it all together, it became Billy Elliot, which is one of the classic of modern era. So can you just briefly tell us about how that film was made?
Well, you're right. When we first made the film, it was a very small, low-budget British film, and we didn't have many expectations that it would be very successful at all. And we hadn't shown it to anyone. When we showed it in front of an audience in Cannes, it was the first time an audience had ever seen it. So it wasn't like we'd tested it or explored it. It was literally the first time anyone had seen the film. So it was we were quite taken aback that the audience responded in such a positive way. I don't think it was just me, actually, if I'm being honest. The idea of a film about a little boy who wants to be a ballet dancer set in a coal mining community during a 1984 miners' strike doesn't necessarily automatically translate to a hit film. So I think everybody was a little bit taken aback and surprised at the success. When we came to do the stage show, I know we had Elton John, but that doesn't necessarily automatically mean success either. We didn't know really whether the show was going to be successful either. So that was also another surprise.
That's interesting. Then, who came up with the bold idea to submit it to the Cannes Film Festival from the beginning?
To show it at Cannes?
Yeah, to show it to Cannes, because you weren't sure what kind of response you would get.
I don't know. I think Eric Fellner from Working Title had a relationship with Cannes And they showed lots of films that they had and said, we got this one as well and this one as well. And I don't think it was a great submission.
Okay.
And then the Cannes went, oh, yeah, okay, we'll try that one out. Again, it wasn't, oh, we're at Cannes. I think it was like, maybe we'll just put this one in and see if anyone salutes it.
It just happens then, like.
But it was funny because when we first did it at Cannes, it was one showing. It was only one showing.
Okay.
They weren't really that interested in us coming. They said, well, if you want to go to see the showing in Cannes, okay, but you've only got a hotel room, a little hotel room for one night. Okay, so, and I went a few days before and stayed in a friend's apartment. And then they were doing press showings, and the press showings, an energy started leading up because of the press showings. So my little hotel room each night got into another hotel room, and then I got a suite. By the time we got to the opening, I had a whole suite at the Hotel du Cap.
That's amazing.
And it was just so funny because Universal were going, oh, they seem to be liking it, maybe we'll better give you a better hotel room. But I still had all my other hotel rooms. So in the end, by the showing, I think I had 5 rooms. So I just was constantly ringing up my friends saying, do you want to come to Cannes?
That's an amazing story. And as far as I know, that's where Sir Elton John watched the movie, right?
He watched it that night. And I don't know why he came to see it. I don't know why. But he had a huge emotional reaction to the story. And I think that was because of his father. And his father was very against him being a songwriter and a musician. And he never reconciled with his father. So I think the fact that the father does reconcile with his child's talent was a very emotional. He was in tears and found it a very big deal for him, which is why he said, well, I'd like to write some songs and turn it into a musical. And we sort of went, yeah, sort of, maybe. Thanks, see you in a few years. And then Elton kept the interest coming, I really do want to do it. And then started writing some songs with Lee Hall. And then we decided, well, maybe we should have a go.
So that story is quite famous, the story you just told us about Sir Elton John approaching to you. What intrigued me most was the timing. The musical came out on 2005, which was after your 2 movie came out, Billy Elliot and The Hours. Both of those movies got rave reviews. It got many nominations, Best Director, and even the actors in it got nominations, and some of them won the prizes. So it's really easy to guess that you are getting many offers from many projects, which might scare you and which was also the first time for you. Just going back to stage, was it also a surprising decision for you, or was it just a natural decision for you?
I can't remember.
Thank you for the honest answer.
If I'm being honest, I can't really remember. But some of the films you get offered, you sort of go, well, I don't know why you're thinking of me for that. But I'm always interested. I remember I got offered a Universal were interested in me making the movie 8 Mile with
Eminem.
With Eminem, and I went, oh right, okay. Well, I know nothing about this world. Like, this is so far away from me. I'm a nice middle-class boy from Somerset. So in the end, I went, look, I'm really flattered that you might think I'd be good at making this film, but I think that I wouldn't choose me, else, if I were you. But sometimes you get offered very strange, fascinating choices, actually. And then it's always a journey of just seeing whether I feel like I've got a world or an environment or a mood or something that I could get interested in. But that particular one, I was going, this is too far away from me.
Yeah, that's okay. I wouldn't hire me. That's a great phrase.
And then they employed another white person. And I went, wait, he's not right, either. But he made a great movie. I went, oh, well, maybe he can do it. Maybe we can all do that. I don't know.
After all this journey and after offers, you come back to the stage with the musical. And from a past interview, you also said when it comes to musical, you got together again with the same crew who made the film with you, Lee Hall, the writer, Peter Darling, the choreographer. And you said you throw away the film and you started from the scratch again for this musical from the beginning. If you just think it really lightly, just giving the audience the exact same version from the film would generate some cheap but positive responses. So why did you choose to throw away the film version and start from the beginning?
Oh, I think because it was all you have is the story, the basic story. There's a kid here who wants to, find himself in the ballet class, wants to do ballet, and that's all you've got. Everything else you've got to reinvent, particularly in a musical, because everything has to be, so much story is embedded in the songs and in the dance. It's a very different form. We really did have to start again.
But not just the dances and the songs. Like you said, this one has a little bit more warmth in it. If I remember the film, I recently watched it actually. It has a bit more bittersweet taste until the end. At the same sequence, someone feels happiness, and at the same time, in that sequence, some other characters actually drag down the reality. So right at the end, you really feel, oh, okay, that's reality. But in this musical, it has more really warmth and light-hearted vibe on it. Why did you choose to go with that tone for the musical?
I don't. I mean, I don't think we ever thought about the film when we were doing the musical at all. We were just thinking about the basic story of trying to reinvent that story. You have more time.
True.
I mean, you've got 3 hours.
Yeah.
The film is like an hour and a half, so you've got twice as much time. And you have Elton's songs. You've got this huge emotional powerhouse in the middle of the show, which is Elton's ballads and his songs.
Talking about Elton John, which song took the shortest time to confirm, and which song needed the most modifications to be confirmed? Do you remember?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't remember anything. But the musical took a long time to form. I mean, it wasn't like this when we first did it. We always change it anyway, but when we were first developing the show, when the boy sings Electricity, he didn't dance.
Oh, really?
So we realized, well, if he's going to dance, if he sings, he's got to dance as well. But there was a lot of things that we developed in the preview process of doing the show.
Okay.
So yes, it didn't look like the show that you saw last night.
That's interesting. I really wanted to ask you this question. We are going into the songs and dances. I love all the songs and all the scenes, but one of the ones I found really impressive was the song Solidarity. This is one of the most popular ones from that show. This is where the stage magic happened, the one you told about. It's real time. There's something happening that film just cannot do. The young Billy introduced the ballet. He learned the skill. He mastered the skill in front of the live audience in real time. And when you actually watch it, you just cannot help but rooted for him and cheer him, and you just want to do anything for him because he's doing it live in front of you. And you're the one who picked that scene and make it work from the beginning. So as a director, how do you know, okay, this one should be in real time, and this is the place where we have to come up with the stage magic? How do you know that?
That is a 15-minute sequence on stage, which is a very long sequence where you're trying to express a couple of things. You're trying to show the boy learning, but also how the adults are distracted entirely by the strike. So they're all busy doing one thing, and then the boy's busy doing something else, and they're not noticing because they're too busy having a strike. And then trying to put that into one song. So it took us months and months and months and months of work to try to figure out how to make that work. So of all the numbers in the show, I think we worked on that one the hardest, but over many, many months, just that one number.
You've must seen it like 1,000 times, but that's one of the songs that really wins the heart of the audience. And at that moment, I realized, okay, that's why we come to theater. Like,
I'm so pleased you like that one.
I really liked it. I loved it. Like that was like you said, and like I told you, that was the magic happening on the stage.
But it is like a little film sequence as well, because it is a sort of montage on stage of different things happening all under the umbrella of one number. But narratively, everybody's jumping around and moving forward, but it is cemented into this one song.
But that doesn't have the cuts like the films. The actors have to just do it real time. And that was just surprising and amazing for me. So
yeah.
I wanted to ask you, that actor is just young actors who play young Billy. And he has to carry 2 hours and 40 minutes musical with dancing, shouting, acting, everything with his heart. Were you always confident that a young actor can carry such a long musical with dynamics?
No, I think I have likened it in the past to, it's like running a marathon and playing Hamlet at the same time. And it's a very hard thing for a young performer to do. It's physically hard. And just getting the skills, they have to be able to have really good tap dancing, brilliant ballet. They need to be able to sing, act, as you say, and they go through heavy emotions, and they're not off stage for 3 hours. So it's a big ask, and they need a certain amount of strength just to get through the show, but also to do the choreography. And the age that they can be is very narrow because they need the strength, but their voices can't have broken yet. You've probably got 18 months of an age of a child, maybe 2 years if you're lucky. The window of opportunity is very, very short and very particular before, because as soon as the voice breaks, it's like it's a different show.
Sure.
But the child who, the young man who did it on Sunday night is just at the right age. So he was just perfect. Just enough strength to be able to really deliver the dance, but still his voice wasn't broken, and he was just young enough, but just old enough at the same time. And I thought he did a great job. It was so moving.
He was.
And then he cried, and he has, do you mean, you saw when my heart broke for him.
Which part did you like the most about his performance?
Well, just this last letter song when he broke down, I thought it was, you could feel the audience go, oh my God, he's really crying. It's like he's really broken down. It's an amazing thing to watch. But his dance is pretty amazing.
Amazing too. And the reason they can do what they do on stage, not just Billy, but all the girls and Michael as well, the small boy, the reason they can do is, I realized recently that you have strict like a curriculum for them. And also, I realized that from all the official notices that this show really take good care of the mental health and physical health of the young actors. Is it something that your crew came up with from West End, or is it something that West End always have done with the young actors?
I think this one is particular because the young people are with you for such a long period of time, and there's so many of them. So there's a lot of kids, because you've got to have different teams. So, there's a lot of kids in the show. But when it comes to specifically the Billies, because of the training program, on the whole, there are exceptions, but on the whole, no kid is going to come with ballet, tap, acrobatics, singing. So you're going to have to put them through some sort of training, and that can take years. And sometimes it doesn't always work out. A lot of the kids, were with us for 3 years before they go on stage. And when we first did it in London, it's like a conservatoire, it's like a boarding school. You take them away from their families, you put them in a boarding school, you teach them their academic lessons, and then they have and that's for years. So it's like you have to create a conservatoire for young people to do the show. It's expensive, it's very time consuming, it takes a lot of commitment by the parents, by the young people, but it means that you've got to create a context in which it's valuable in its own right, in case they don't go on to do the show. So in that sense, a care of duty, if that's the right word, for the kids is all the way through the training program, and they are very like young athletes, so they're doing a really hard job. So you have to physically look after both their mental health, their physical health, the nutrition. You take control of their whole life about what they can and cannot do, which can be some years.
Through the curriculum and through that great care system, many Billies have been on the stage. And commercially, the most well-known Billy of them all must be Tom Holland, the Spider-Man. I read the article that you actually auditioned for him. Is it true? And also, how do you feel about just seeing him go to the film industry and become who he is, right? The global star.
Yeah, little Tom I auditioned Tom, and I thought, well, he's a really good actor, but he could act and sing a little bit, but he didn't have any of the dance. I think it took him 2 years, maybe 3, while he was with us, while he had to train and learn all the different skills. And he was in the show in different parts. We put him in the show as a small part called Tall Boy, then he went to play Michael, and after however many years, he eventually played Billy. But he was with us for a very, very long time as he learned how to both tap and when he went through his ballet training. So that was a very long journey with Tom. And Tom has always been, whenever we have reunions, Tom is always there. He always turns up, and he's such a joy and a delight, and very loyal to the show. This is some time ago now. Sometimes in London, when the show was on in London, we would have these big finales where all the Billies would come back, and Tom would come back, and you sort of go, they don't really know who he is, but he's just another kid, because there's so many ex-Billies on stage. I mean, maybe there'll be 40 of them, but Tom would always come back.
Wow, that's amazing. Maybe that's because he knows what kind of things he learned and how helpful it was for his
I think he's very fond of the show and the years he spent with us. I think they were good years for him. And he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy. Not just Tom Holland, interesting things are happening from Korean cast too. I'm not sure about the Western version or Broadway version, but this fourth production in Korea of the Billy Elliot the musical, there's a full circling moment happening in Korea. One of the Billies from 2010's production, Korean production, came back as the adult Billy for this production. And also last night, Michael, who played Michael, used to be a small boy 4 years ago in another production in Korea. So there's always this interesting full circle moment happening in this production because they can always position themselves in the different roles as they get older. Is it something always happening in other productions
It's
as well?
always happening. It's endearing and lovely. And so the dance of older Billy with the younger Billy when the older Billy has actually played the younger Billy is particularly moving. And we used to do it in London when Liam Mower, who was the first Billy I built the show with actually, went on to be a very well-known contemporary dancer in the UK. And he would come back every now and then to play older Billy. And the audience knew who he was. So, of course, when he came on, the audience went, whoa! Do you know what I mean? It was like this huge celebration of a strange and wonderful world where they grow up and come back into different roles.
Is it something like the young Billies wants to do when you see those returning Billies as adults? Like, is it something they always dream of? Oh, I'll come back as adult Billy someday.
No, I think it's hard. A lot of the Billies have gone on to do many different things. One of our American Billies became a very well-known sniper in the US Army.
Really?
Famous military sniper.
Billy became a sniper.
Yeah,
That's
Sniper Billy, we've had Sniper Billy, we've had all sorts of Billies. But I again, whatever the Billies go on to doing, whatever it is in the military, whatever I hope that, and I sort of believe that the discipline and the practice and the dedication that it required for them to do the show does translate into other fields of their life. So it wouldn't surprise me that a boy who was an unbelievably brilliant ballet dancer actually becomes a very brilliant sniper in the US Army.
That really is an interesting story. We talked heavily about the Billies and young actors. Let's talk a little bit about this show as a whole. Like we said earlier, it sets in a specific historic era in England. In 1984, the miners' strike was happening. The thing is, from the film, we can really feel that what's happening, at least from the foreigner's point of view. We can see and feel what is it like to be in a pit village in that atmosphere. But when it comes to the stage, there's certain limitations on stage. Especially for the foreign audience, it's really hard to convey what kind of feeling they have from the beginning as a set of the whole show. How did you want to achieve that for the foreign audience?
Did you feel that? Was it hard to understand the context of the miners resisting the closure of their factories or their, in this case, the pits? Did you feel that?
I could feel that. But the reason I prepared this question is that you're not responsible for this production, but we are showing it to the audience of 2026. Back in 2004, 2000s, the audience, both in Western culture and Asian culture, they might have some memories or like idea of what the miners' strike was because it didn't happen that long time ago. But from today's point of view, it could feel something like, oh, I heard about that. That's something from the past, right? So the heaviness of the strike might reduce a little bit.
I think,
Have you thought about that?
maybe you're right. I think that the story, it's about the end of an industry. So it's about an industry dying, in a sense, it's the coal industry. And, nobody really wants to spend their lives digging coal out of the ground, or indeed none of us want to spend a life burning coal for fuel. So in a sense, the industry had to die, but it was, I think the argument was always about how it died. And the very proud and secure and strong communities were discarded and forgotten. The areas where the coal industry was in England are some of the most deprived areas in Europe. It's a very harsh story about the end of that industry. But as we go forward in our culture now, we also see industries dying. Industry is dying, and certainly in England, there's no manufacturing industry. We don't make anything in England. Margaret Thatcher really killed manufacturing industry. You still make things in South Korea, but we don't. We don't make anything. We make banks. That's all we do. But what's interesting to me is that as AI, artificial intelligence, comes into our world more and more, the transition from a whole series of industries will be radical and will be the biggest the biggest industrial revolution we've had since the Industrial Revolution. So, and that will cause mass unemployment. Opportunities in certain areas, but for the majority of people, it will mean they're out of a job. And I think that feeling of a community or an industry, or that is known now, and I think it will become more known as we get more into this incredible moment of history that we're in. And that's even in my industry, like even in the film industry, tens of thousands of people that work in the UK or around the world, in Hollywood, in animation, in special effects, in all these jobs are there. So they're all going now, and because AI can do everything. I mean, who will need a computer programmer anymore? All these courses at university are gone. You don't need so many things now that we just thought we might need, we just don't need anymore. And obviously I'm very worried about it because I think that the level of unemployment will be so extreme, and we're just at the beginning of this. Where we all are in 5 years' time will be a very different place to where we are now. And I worry about social unrest. I worry about there will be, can society hold such a radical revolution that we're about to engage in? Can we look after everybody while this happens? I hope we can, because I think it could be very dangerous if we don't.
In that context, we can watch it as we project whichever industry we're working in, like, oh, that can happen to me, that can happen to our industry. And like you said, if that happens, can I look after my Billy? So I think that's a great way of enjoying it or get immersed into the story of Billy Elliot in 2026. Thinking about the historical era, the miners' strike, I just wanted to ask this trivia question. Preparing for this interview, I learned about the play called Never the Same Again, which was the...
You're so sweet for mentioning that.
I find it quite fascinating. As I'm concerned, that was your first job after post-grading school, and you actually made it, directed during the miners' strike on a pit village. You must have learned quite a lot about the community itself in the pit village. So did that experience ever help you in any way with this?
Oh,
series?
entirely. It was a life-changing experience during doing that first. It was my first job, as you said. My first job was working in a mining village, and we toured around the different village halls in the area, in the South Yorkshire coalfield, doing a play. It was actually about the women of the strike. I formed a very strong bond with that community and the artists working there. And I suppose doing Billy Elliot, the movie, was heavily influenced by that experience during the miners' strike. And for Lee, who wrote the book, wrote the story, wrote the film originally, we were both in South Yorkshire at the same time during the miners' strike. So for both of us, it was a central moment in our collective history that we went back to for the film, and then went back to again with the movie. But it was such an important part of my life that it's been a source of big experiences, cultural experiences in my life, the movie and the show.
Then from that experience and the things you learned about that community, what kind of spirit of the community did you wanted to bring to the story of Billy Elliot?
Well, the communities were very, very strong, very powerful, very self-reliant. It's hard to describe how proud, loyal, connected they were, but they were very, very strong communities. It was heartbreaking to watch those communities dissolve at the end of the strike. They were dissolved, forgotten, discarded, whatever the word is, but they broke down because there was no work, there was no jobs, and then other things started to happen, and people moved away and things became, other people moved in. It became quite desperate. But it is a real, though that working class culture, particularly in the mines, it was very much the sort of soul of the nation that was lost.
I hope that background will really help the audience who haven't watched the musical yet to help them get immersed in the story and the set of the musical. We talked mostly about the Billy Elliot, the film and the musical, but from your answers, like you said, you're really brave when it comes to new projects. You get scared, but you don't hesitate to jump into the new projects. And from the past interview, you said, I'm quoting yourself,
Yeah.
trying to make the world a better place and trying to have a conversation about the world we live in is the point of doing any piece of work. I think that's a beautiful sentence about what art is. So from 2026 point of view, what kind of conversation do you want to have with the audience from which medium about our world?
Oh, you mean what am I doing now?
Yeah, now or ever, what do you want to do?
Well, I'm sort of aware, as again the world is changing quite radically, and I think there's a very, very strong likelihood that in England and in Europe, the young people that are growing up will be the first generation for many, many generations that will be asked to fight for their country. So conscription will be coming back in, and they will have to fight. And nobody's really fought in Europe in that way, in the conscription way, since obviously 1945. And you can see it in what's happening in Germany and what's happening in France. So people are beginning to work out how we can move our economies into a war economy and how to bring conscription back. So we're making a film called The Battle of Britain, which is a Second World War film about the unexpected idea that for the first time young people for many years will have to be asked, would you fight for your country? So would you fight for your country? In a sense, in England in 1936, the answer was no. And then they had to fight for the country. I think the question about would you fight for your country is going to be asked in a very profound way in the next 5 to 10 years in Europe.
When is that movie coming out? I'm really curious about that.
Thank you very much. I'll give you Eric Felder's telephone number and you can ask him when is the release date of that movie. We're also doing Stranger Things, more Stranger Things TV show, and we're doing, what else are we doing? We're doing something else big as well. More Crown.
More Crown for sure.
More Crown, always more Crown. We're going back. We're not going forward, we're going to go back on the Crown and go back and catch up with ourselves, if you like. 3 more seasons of The Crown for Netflix.
There are a lot to be done.
There's a lot to be done, and we're all...
You should really take care of your physical healthiness, right? to helm all that projects, you should be really healthy. You know?
I'm very excited, though. I get very excited on everything.
I'm excited about all the projects too. So whenever the projects happen, and if you come to Korea again, I really, really sincerely hope to meet again.
I really hope so too, and thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to see you.
It was really nice to see you.
Really nice talking to you.
Before you go, is there anything you want to talk to the Korean audience who are eagerly waiting for the musical?
Oh my gosh, well, I'm so happy to be here in Korea, and particularly happy to be here in Seoul. And I think I said to you, it's one of the most exciting, energetic, vibrant cities I've been to. So thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here.
Again, thank you very much for your time and sincere answers.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
네, 그렇게 감독님과의 대화가 마무리되었습니다. 뮤지컬 빌리 엘리어트는 현재 열심히 공연 올려지고 있으니까요. 궁금하신 분들은 꼭 직접 가서 무대 위의 마법 확인해 보시기 바랍니다. 그리고 여기까지 함께 해주신 분들을 위해서 제작사 측에서 저희 채널에 공연 초대권과 예매 할인 쿠폰 자체 이벤트 기회를 주셨어요. 자세한 내용은 더보기란에 써놓을 테니까 참고해주세요. 이 영상이 빌리 엘리어트와 스티븐 달드리 감독님의 작품을 사랑하시는 분들에게 의미 있는 영상이었길 바라면서 저는 다음번 다른 영상으로 인사드리도록 하겠습니다. 지금까지는 천재이승국의 이승국이었습니다. 감사합니다. 바이바이.